All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are digging into one of the biggest questions that every trader asks themselves. Is there really one single magic technical indicator that just blows all the others out of the water? Well, we're going to see what the data has to say. You know, almost every trader, especially when they're just starting out, goes on this epic quest for the holy grail, right? That one perfect tool that's going to unlock the markets and make everything easy. It's a totally natural place to start, but is it even the right question to be asking? So, this is the exact question we're going to tackle. We are putting it to the test. And we're not doing it with opinions or theories. Oh no. We're going to take a cold, hard look at the actual performance data over a 5-year period. Okay, before we dive in, we have to agree on one ground rule. It's really simple: profitability. That's it. If an indicator's signals don't actually translate into a profitable bottom line, then it's just noise. It's a distraction. That is the only metric we are going to use to judge these tools. So to find our answer, we're setting up a pretty rigorous data-driven experiment. We are literally pitting some of the most popular indicators against each other in a 5-year showdown to see how they actually perform when they're left all by themselves. And how are we doing this? Well, it's through a process called backtesting. Basically, this lets us take a trading strategy, apply it to a whole bunch of historical market data, and see exactly how it would have done. It's kind of like a time machine for traders. And here they are, our competitors. We've got the heavyweights of technical analysis, everything from trend followers like the MACD and Ishimoku to momentum oscillators like the RSI and stochastic. This table lays out the exact, no-fluff entry and exit rules we used for each one. This way, it's a purely systematic, fair comparison. Now, to keep the fight fair, we set up some pretty strict rules for the arena. We're looking at the Euro-USD pair on the daily time frame over the last 5 years. We're starting with a hypothetical $100,000 account. And here's a really important point. Just for this specific test, no stop losses were used. So, we ran the numbers. We followed the rules to the letter. We let these indicators trade for 5 straight years, based only on their own signals. And the results? Well, let's just say they might not be what you're expecting. Okay, this is the moment of truth. After all that time, after all those trades, which of these legendary indicators actually made money? Which one proved it could be profitable when left completely on its own? In this right here, this just perfectly illustrates the brutal reality. I mean, look at this table. Bollinger Bands down nearly 20%, Parabolic SAR down almost 10%, RSI, Stochastic, all of them in the red. The really shocking truth here is that most of these super popular indicators, when you use them completely by themselves, actually lost money over this 5-year period. But there was one clear winner. The Ichimoku Kinko Hyo indicator stood all alone, generating a total profit of over 30%. If you break that down, it's about a 6% return per year. So, case closed, right? Ichimoku is the best one? Well, not so fast. Let's look at the other end of the spectrum for a second. The stochastic indicator was the biggest loser here, with a really painful negative return of over 20%. And this huge gap between the best and the worst, it really shows you how risky it can be to just rely on one single isolated signal. And honestly, this is the most important lesson from all of this data. Just because Ichimoku won this specific race under these specific conditions, that absolutely does not mean it's the best indicator for everyone all the time. This test actually reveals something much, much deeper. So, this brings us to the real secret. It was never about finding a magic bullet. It's about understanding the true role that an indicator is supposed to play inside a trader's toolbox. I mean, think about it. Think about any expert in any field. A master carpenter doesn't just show up with a hammer, right? A world-class chef doesn't just use one knife for everything. And a truly great trader is never a one-trick pony. The source material for this explainer gave us a perfect analogy. Think of a famous wrestler like The Rock. His finishing move, the People's Elbow, was awesome, right? So effective. But he couldn't just start a match with it. It only worked after he'd done a whole series of setup moves. An indicator is just like that finishing move. It's powerful, but only as one part of a larger strategy. So, here's the crucial takeaway. The secret is this: stop searching for the single best indicator. It's a wild goose chase. The real work, The real art of trading is learning how to combine different tools and indicators into a system that fits the market you're in, your personal style, and your own tolerance for risk. So let's end with this thought. The search for a shortcut for that one magic indicator, it's so tempting. But as this quote suggests, the real rewards in trading, they come from paying the price, doing the hard work, doing the testing, and doing the learning it takes to build a solid system of your own. So the question isn't, what's the best indicator? The real question is, what's the best system that you can build?